A very warm welcome to Tech Mining. This video is being rolled out to provide visual instructions to set up an environment for the Asset Transfer Hyperledger Fabric blockchain project, which is created in this book. The Asset Transfer project created in this book maintains data of assets simultaneously on an in-state CouchDB in a private blockchain. The objective of this project is to keep track of asset transfers and reveal current ownership of the assets. The front end of this project is created using Express.js to interact with the private blockchain. This form allows you to add new assets to the blockchain. The images of assets will be stored on Infura IPFS dedicated gateway. The blockchain keeps track of every changes you make. This interface provides you with a complete trail of the selected asset from the blockchain. These are the modules of this application that will manage assets. Here are the steps to set up environment for Hyperledger Fabric and the front-end application. You must be running Windows 10 version 2004 and higher, build 19041 and higher, or Windows 11. Execute the following steps to install the Ubuntu Linux distribution using the Windows Subsystem for Linux. This command will enable the required optional components, download the latest Linux kernel, set WSL2 as the default version, and install the Ubuntu Linux distribution. The first time you launch a newly installed Linux distribution, a console window will open and you'll be asked to wait for a minute or two for the files to decompress and be stored on your PC. You will then need to create a user account and password for your new Linux distribution. The Windows Subsystem for Linux and virtual machine platform options should have been enabled by the wsl install command. Docker is an open platform for developing, shipping, and running applications. Docker Desktop is an easy-to-install application for your Mac or Windows environment that enables you to build and share containerized applications and microservices. The goal of the Docker Desktop is to deliver an easy-to-use development environment for building, shipping, and running Dockerized apps. Execute the following instructions to install version 4.10.1 of Docker Desktop. Turn on these two options to enable integration with Ubuntu WSL distro. Check Docker and Docker Compose versions in Ubuntu. Also check the state of Ubuntu and Docker Desktop in PowerShell. Execute these steps to install Node.js and npm on your Windows system. You need these two components to run and access the front-end application that is provided in the book source code folder. Execute the following instructions to create a simple Fabric test network. This command will clone the Fabric samples repository, download the latest Hyperledger Fabric Docker images, and download Fabric CLI tool binaries and configuration files to interact with the test network. Download the project source code using the link provided in the book. After downloading the code, copy all contents from the asset transfer folder. Open Application JavaScript folder under Asset Transfer Basic folder and paste the copied files and folders. Open roots.js file in VS Code. Scroll down to line number 296. Replace project ID and project secret values with those you set in the section Setup dedicated IPFS gateway on Infura to handle images in the healthcare insurance project. A link of that video is provided in the description. Scroll down further and replace project ID and secret on line 441. This URL fetches images stored through this application from the subdomain we created during the dedicated IPFS gateway setup. Copy or move cautil.js file from Application JavaScript to JavaScript folder under Test Application folder. Copy or move asset transfer.js file to lib folder under chain code JavaScript folder. Finally, copy or move ccutils.sh file to scripts folder under test network. In Ubuntu, switch to the Application JavaScript folder. Type 2 statements to install front-end application dependencies. These dependencies will be installed in a new folder named Node_modules. Before invoking the application, make sure that all the containers are up and running in Docker Desktop. Switch to Application JavaScript folder. Check the current node version. Type this command to use node version 10.23.0, which is required for this application. After the verifications, type npm start to start the application server on port 3001. Open Google Chrome. Type localhost :3001 in the address bar and hit enter to access the application home page. Click the login link. Type admin for user ID and any text in the password box. Hit the sign in button. This will enroll and create the admin user. This account is required in Hyperledger Fabric to create a new folder named Wallet. The Wallet folder holds certificates of application users. Note that the admin user account will not be used to perform any operation in this application. Use the Register menu option to enroll and create new users for this application. When you create a new user, a certificate for that user is created in the Wallet folder. Open the application folder in VS Code. Open the new user's certificate. Copy the hash between private key and end private key. Press Ctrl-N to create a new file. Paste the copied private key hash into this new file. Press Ctrl-F and type \r\n to find these carriage return and line feed symbols. Click the down arrow symbol. Make sure that the replace box is empty. Click the replace all icon to remove all carriage return and line feed symbols from the hash. Now copy the hash, save it in Notepad and use it as the password to access the application. A session will be created for the logged in user to keep track of the information provided by the user. Clicking the View link will take you to your dedicated gateway, where you can see the uploaded image of the selected asset. Using the Ubuntu console, you can view details of the activities performed in the application. Using the Update Asset page, you can modify assets data. Hyperledger Fabric doesn't actually update the asset when an update operation is performed. Blockchain is immutable and no data on a blockchain will ever be updated or deleted. An update is just another transaction on the blockchain. Modified data is reflected in the world state database by replacing the previous state of the asset. The Update Owner option lets you transfer the ownership of an asset. Before using this option, make sure that the new owner is enrolled and created using the Register Application option. Also take a note of the new owner's private key. Once again, Hyperledger Fabric doesn't actually update the asset owner on the blockchain. Instead, a new transaction is created on the blockchain to reflect the current ownership state of the asset that you will see through the Asset History option available in the application menu. The Asset History page in the application allows you to view all operations performed on an asset. For example, the current scenario reveals modifications made to Asset 7 in chronological order. The bottom record is the initial entry. Next comes the middle record that shows the modified appraised value, color, and size. Finally, the top record, which is the latest one, reveals the new owner of this asset. The data is removed only from the wold state. It still persists on the blockchain. The next time you start your PC, you must first start Hyperledger Fabric network. That's it. Thank you for watching.